Good afternoon, everybody. This is The Miz, and we're coming for you live today from New York as news has broke. The New York Football Giants have themselves a GM, and a real GM. For the first time in years since Tom Coughlin and Jerry Reese, the New York Giants, John Mara is doing the right things. You could sit back and you could actually feel good about things for the first time ever. It's not confusing. It's not a mess. There is a total direction. Joe Schoen of the Buffalo Bills, who's played a big role in building that big-time team, which plays this weekend for the right to go to the AFC title game, is now the general manager of the New York Football Giants. And there are a list of candidates that are coming in for head coaches, and some of them are big names. You got Flores, and you got Dabo. Harbaugh's out there. I'm not one to think that Harbaugh's coming here, and I don't think Mara would pay him that type of money. But those first two candidates I am very good with. Flores, a Brooklyn-born kid, has done some big things, a strong coach. And it's intriguing that he would be the first African-American head coach for the New York Football Giants. Talk about Mara going in a different direction in these last 2 weeks. He's brought in the GM. He's going to hand him the keys the right way. He's going to allow him to run the organization. He's going to take a step back. This guy has shown the ability and has drafted some big-time players for the Buffalo Bills, or scouted the players that have been drafted. Now he's going to bring in a head coach. Or you might get Dabo from Buffalo, who's very connected to the offensive system. Something the Giants need a lot of help with, as we were probably the worst offense in the NFL this past year. But you know what? It's exciting. The guy fits the organization. He has the look of a Mara type of look. But most of all, he's young with a new direction outside the organization. Everything I asked for a few weeks ago when I had the opportunity to talk to Kim Jones. Everything I named has just happened in this new GM. New direction, young, outside the organization. Bring a vision. And has a proven track record of scouting big talent. The man has an eye for talent. We all know what we got to do this draft. It's intriguing to go different directions, but I think the best possible way the Giants could go here is you go stack an O-lineman on top of an O-lineman with those top 2 picks, unless you could get a trade back. You keep Daniel Jones. You bring in 3 new linemen, all right? 2 of them have to be staple pieces. You hope to get back a Nick Gates. Lemieux is young. Can use him as a backup off the bench. You build the O-line, and you give Daniel Jones and Barkley another chance. Something they haven't had since they've been here. An offensive line. We know we've gone through this, and we all know it's old news. But this is the year you go to the draft and you stack the hog mollies. You build a strong O-line. We've seen enough out of Jones with his arm, his head, his legs, his accuracy. You've seen enough out of Daniel Jones with the worst O-line in the league. Imagine if you put him behind a real offensive line. And if you drafted a tackle at 5 and Lindenbaum at 7, along with Andrew Thomas, and you go pick up a guard in the 2nd or the 3rd round, you have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. And you get 3 pieces on this O-line to go with Andrew Thomas. The Giants could go from the worst O-line in the league to arguably a top 10 O-line in the NFL. And you put Daniel Jones and these wide receivers, Tony, Galladay, maybe you keep an Ingram, and Barkley in the backfield off of another offseason where you can really get that knee real strong. People, every year 2 teams come out of nowhere and flip the script in 1 year. There is no reason why the Giants can't go win 9 or 10 games next year and have the year next year that they were supposed to have this past year. It's all about the O-line. You have a quarterback, you have a running back, you have receivers, and you have a pretty damn good defense. A defense that played its ass off till the last quarter of the season. I believe this GM knows exactly what the Giants need. He's not a stupid man. He's smart and bright, and he's done his homework. And even a moron who doesn't watch football that much knows the Giants' O-line has been so bad It stood out this season as the worst unit in football. You know what you gotta do. Don't get pretty. Don't try to outsmart yourself. It's simple thinking. The 5 and the 7. You go get 2 major pieces on this O-line. And at 7, I really, really want Lindenbaum. I urge Joe Schoen to go get Lindenbaum. A stud. 2 staple pieces. And then you pick up a guard in the 3rd round with one of your 2 picks. And you're looking at a whole new Giants football team, man. The O-line is the glue to connect this whole team. You have a GM. Now we go get a head coach. This is the most exciting the Giants have been in years. The fan base is happy, excited. You can literally feel. You can feel that there's a light now. The tunnel is coming to an end. The dark tunnel's at the end. There's a light. The Giants have a direction. And Mara, at that press conference, you saw it in his eyes. You saw the anger. You saw the embarrassment, and you knew he was finally going to go do things right. And doing things right sometimes means checking your ego and your family at the door and allowing others from the outside to come in and hand them the keys, the trust to build you a real football program. You look at the schedule next year, you look at the 10 draft picks, and you look at the pieces that are already on this team. And anybody who tells you the Giants don't have pieces, they're lying to you. You've seen Cincinnati turn it around in a small amount of time. You've seen Arizona do it, and you saw the Eagles make the playoffs this year. And the Giants with one of the easiest schedules next year. If they could build an O-line, I believe they're due for a healthy season. And I believe Daniel Jones could still be the guy behind a real line. Now, there might be changes. You might bring in a young quarterback. But most likely, you're staying with Daniel Jones for this one more year just to see. I think things are looking good. We have a brand new GM. And now let's see who's coming in as a head coach. A modern era of New York football Giants is upon us. And we ain't far off from saying our New York Giants are back. Join me later this afternoon as I fire up a live show, The Midday with Miz. And I'd love for all you guys to join.